Mark, and this is my assessment of learning for OLTD 506. And I was going to look specifically at the question of where were you in relation to social media and teachers in the BC context with regard to the 5 pillars of risk, attitudes, and perceptions. And I'm going to look at it in 3 stages: where I was when I began the course, where I am now, and where I would like to be. So this video will be divided into 3 segments, and I'll start with where I was when I began the course. So just in starting, looking at the 5 pillars of knowledge, skill, and training, practice and experience, guidelines and policy, and confidence. In terms of those specifically, I think that I was in knowledge. I think I had some understanding of the puzzle pieces, but I certainly hadn't put the puzzle together. Skill and training, I think I had some skills that I'd gathered through my coursework in OLTD and some of the things I looked at outside of OLTD. Practice and experience, I'd started using social media in the classroom. I'd done a Facebook project. I'd done some work with Weebly as well last year in a pilot, and working with Alex Kouros' course. We'd certainly experimented. Guidelines and policy, I would say, very weak. I had some things in place, but I didn't understand the policy or the ramifications. And confidence, I think I was confident that I was doing the right thing, that I was moving in the right direction, but certainly I knew there were pitfalls out there that I hadn't fully explored, and so I was, kind of like driving blind and waiting to crash a little bit. So that's kind of where I started. I'd like to go through a few things. When I started, I felt passionately that social media was a big part of the future and the importance of education. As even in my own decision to take this course, to take the OLTD program, I wasn't necessarily sure why, or I didn't necessarily start with a passion in technology, but it's something that I wanted to explore because I thought it was something that was important, and that's only been reinforced in my course learning. I'd like to read a quote about the importance of social media, and this is from Social Media Gets Serious, Understanding the Functioning Building Blocks of Social Media. So today everything is about social media. Some industry gurus claim that if you do not participate in Facebook, YouTube, and Second Life, you're not part of cyberspace anymore. Social media allows firms to engage in timely and direct end consumer contact at relatively low cost and higher levels of efficiency, and that can be achieved with more traditional communication and tools. And I think that this only reinforces the importance of teachers to adopt social media in their teaching and to direct students, and I felt strongly about this before I started the course, and so on. So I feel also that teachers, or I felt also at the beginning of the course, that teachers must adapt to the need of 21st century learners, and social media is certainly a part of that. And we're seeing a growing trend in all walks of life, in industry, and in the jobs that our students are going to be participating in, for the need of using social media. I'd heard a bit about FIPA, and I knew there were some problems with BC privacy laws, but I wasn't really sure specifically what those were, and so I certainly had ignorance, and I didn't have a clear grasp on that. I also knew that there wasn't a lot of help at the school, district, or province level in terms of providing support for teachers who were adopting Web 2.0 tools. I've been to a lot of conferences, and people are like, oh, you got to use these, and this is a really good idea, and I felt passionately about that. But when it was time to find a social media policy, or there were, you're asking questions like, well, what if, or can we use this program if it's housed in a server outside of BC? There weren't answers, and there was a lot of unanswered emails sent to the superintendents. I'm sure they were frustrated by all my inquiries, but so I felt a little bit out on my own on an island, and so that there was definitely that fear, but I was also passionately believing that we needed to push this, and I hadn't really seen anybody else get in trouble, so I thought, why stop? And I don't know if that's always a great place to be. And so that's the end of chapter 1, I guess, or part 1. And in the next chapter, I'll talk about where I am now after nearing the completion of this course. Okay.